The Generals of the Yang Family, Chapter 4.
Today we're jumping into 10th century China, specifically the very early days of the Song dynasty under its founder, Emperor Taizu.
We're looking at a specific military campaign, the assault on Hedong or River East, that turns into something very different.
It really does. It's less about grand strategy and, maneuvering big armies, and much more about the incredible impact of a few almost legendary individuals.
Yeah, the sources we have lay out these brutal one-on-one duels, a really desperate retreat, and then a brilliant diplomatic save that leads to this completely unexpected recruitment on the way home.
A wild ride. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. We're starting with Emperor Taizu, and he's facing an old enemy. He's trying to consolidate his new dynasty, but this one region, Hedong, is holding out.
Right, and you see his caution almost immediately. Our sources make it clear he'd failed in this region before, back when he was a general for the later Zhou.
So he's got some history here. He's nervous.
He is. And now he gets news that the enemy has been reinforced. So his first instinct, his advice to his generals, is basically to pull back. He says to avoid their sharpness.
Which is smart thinking, don't throw your troops into a meat grinder if you don't have to.
Exactly. But one of his key commanders, Pan Renmei, he argues against it. He persuades Taizu to stay.
What's his argument?
Well, Renmei says, look, the troops they have are powerful. He specifically names the Yang family's forces, but he thinks they lack a unified command structure.
So he sees weakness where Taizu sees a brick wall. He thinks they're a collection of strong fighters, not a cohesive army.
Precisely. Yeah. And so Pan Renmei and another general, Gao Huaid, they come up with a very classic, very methodical plan. They call it the Long Siege.
This wasn't going to be a quick, decisive battle.
No, not at all. It was a multi-stage, measured assault. It was designed to wear the enemy down, bit by bit.
And they had it all mapped out, right? In 3 waves.
3 distinct waves. The idea was to send in General Xiaohua first, then follow up with General Zhao Yi, and then, for the final blow, bring in the main force under Gao Huaid and his brother Huiliang.
It's tactical, it's logical, it relies on overwhelming them over time.
It's a textbook military plan.
And this is the exact moment where the textbook gets thrown out the window, because they planned for an army, but they ran headfirst into one man, Yang Ye.
And you just have to stop and think about that. Their whole plan, this professional multi-stage assault, it was just annihilated by a single person.
It really shows you the power of an individual hero in that era of warfare, doesn't it?
It's something we just don't see in modern war.
We really have to talk about these duels because they're legendary. So General Xiaohua, leading that first wave, he rides out very confident.
Oh yeah, he's shouting threats, saying he's going to level Hedong.
And Yang Ye, he comes out with his men, Wang Yi and Yan Zhao, and he doesn't even, there's no big speech, no formal challenge.
No, he treats it like an execution. The sources are very clear. Xiaohua is killed with a single stroke of Yang Ye's blade. Instant.
Imagine being a Song soldier watching that. Your first wave, general, your opening move is just gone before the fight's even really started.
The rout was immediate. But then General Zhao Yi, who's leading the second wave, he's a brave guy. He steps right up with an axe, ready to avenge his comrade.
And this is where it gets even more brutal.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, the fight lasts for about 20 rounds, so it's a real battle. But the ending, it's just horrific. The source material is so specific, it's chilling.
What does it say?
It says Yang Yi doesn't just kill Zhao Yi. He kills Zhao Yi and his horse at the same time, slicing them both into 4 sections.
4 sections, the man and the horse.
Yes. Just think about the psychological impact of seeing that on a battlefield. It's not just a death. That's a message. It's pure psychological warfare. It tells every single person watching that this isn't just a skilled opponent. This is something else entirely, something terrifying.
So, of course, the second wave collapses into a rout. Pan Renmei's brilliant plan is now in tatters.
2 stages, 2 dead generals, 1 man responsible. The whole foundation of their attack is just gone.
But the third wave, Gao Huaid and his brother Huiliang, they still come on. They have 10,000 cavalry.
And this fight is different. Gao Huaid is actually a match for Yang Ye. They fight for over 50 rounds, and there's no clear winner.
So he can hold his own.
He can, but
Yeah.
Yang Ye is smart, not just strong. He fakes a retreat, pulls Huaid into a chase.
And it's a trap.
It's a trap. Yang Yanzhao intercepts him, and Gao Huaid's brother, Huiliang, has to fight like mad just to rescue him from being captured or killed.
So, to sum up, the Song have taken huge losses, 2 of their 3 main commanders are dead in the most gruesome way possible, and the third had to be saved by his brother.
The entire campaign has just ground to a halt. Not because the strategy was bad, but because it ran into a force of nature it just couldn't account for.
And this is where the story shifts, right? From military disaster to political survival.
Exactly. Pan Renmei reports back, and Emperor Taizu's reaction is so telling, he doesn't blame his generals.
No, he says something like, maybe heaven doesn't want me to have Hedong.
Yes, he sees it as a sign. They both realize that continuing to fight is just, it's not going to work. They have to withdraw.
But just turning and running is incredibly dangerous. That's how you get your whole army massacred.
Especially when they're already demoralized. A retreat could easily turn to a rout, a total disgrace.
And this is where a different general, Yang Guangmei, no relation to the other Yang Ye, steps in.
With some absolutely brilliant advice. He warns Taizu, do not just pull back. He says, if you do that, Yang Ye and his local ally Zhao Sui will smell blood in the water. They'll pursue.
And that pursuit against a broken army would be what the sources call an unarmed flight. Just utter destruction.
And political shame for the new dynasty. So Guangmei proposes a different path.
Diplomacy.
Peace negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
They need to secure a safe retreat. Even though they just got their teeth kicked in, Taizu agrees. He sends Guangmei on the mission.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, it really does.
Guangmei goes to negotiate with Yang Ye, the guy who just single-handedly wrecked their army, and Yang Ye, he just laughs at him.
Of course he does. He asks if Taizu offered peace to all the other states he conquered. He sees it as weakness.
So Guangmei is in a tough spot. He can't threaten him with force. That just failed spectacularly.
So he has to use psychology, ego, and just cold, hard reality.
Yeah.
And his arguments are a masterclass.
What's the first point?
The first point is fear, but disguised as logic. He says, look, the Song dynasty is overwhelmingly powerful. It's like Mount Tai crushing a fragile egg. It's a reminder of who the real superpower is here.
Okay, so that sets the stage. What's next?
The second point is pure ego massage. He tells Yang Ye this peace offer isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of respect for Yang Ye's personal reputation. That Taizu himself doesn't want to spill more blood.
He's flattering him, basically. Elevating his status.
While reframing the whole situation, and then comes the third point. The actual threat, but it's very subtle.
Go on.
Guangmei basically says, the army you just fought, that was just an advance guard. If the main Song army gets angry about this delay, they will come. And he asks Yang Ye, can you really guarantee you'll win forever? Can you guarantee the safety of this whole region against that kind of force?
And that hits home.
It silences him. The sources say he had no answer. Guangmei forced him to look past this one victory to the long-term consequences.
And his own advisor, Wang Yi, tells him to take the deal. He calls it a rare opportunity.
So Yang Ye agrees. He withdraws his troops. And Guangmei, being thorough, goes straight to the other commander, Zhao Sui.
Who agrees instantly. He calls the Song emperor his revered lord. He was clearly more of a political survivor than a warrior.
And that diplomatic move was so critical. Because we learned there was another factor here. The Song army was running out of grain.
Ah, so this wasn't just about saving face, it was about saving the army from starvation.
It was. The diplomacy accomplished what 3 generals and their armies could not. It secured a safe retreat and saved them from total disaster.
So they get away from Yang Ye, but their journey isn't over. As they're retreating near Taihang Mountain, a scout comes back with bad news.
The road is blocked.
Not by an army, though. The report says bandits.
And this is where we meet another incredible figure, Hu Yanzan. He's there with a man named Li Jianzong, and they have 5,000 men.
But the sources are really specific here. These aren't just random robbers.
Not at all. It says they have a deep hatred for Hedong, the place the Song were just trying to conquer. And they specifically say they do not want a conflict with the Song.
So they're not bandits. They're more like a local paramilitary force with their own agenda.
Exactly. And they see the emperor's army passing by, not as a target, but as an opportunity. A mobile armory.
Their demand is so precise, too.
Yeah.
3,000 sets of armor, 3,000 bows and arrows.
And in return, they promise to be the vanguard, the spearhead for the Song army in the next campaign against Hedong.
It's an incredible offer. It's basically a job application, but with a roadblock.
It's a political gift, but it's wrapped in a military threat. They have to prove they're worth the equipment, and they do it violently.
The duels start all over again. Pan Zhailiang, who is the son of the general Pan Renmei,
Who just lost 2 of his best commanders.
he rides out and insults Yanzan, calls him a nameless grass bandit.
A huge mistake.
Ugh.
Yanzan kills him in 2 exchanges, with a steel whip, no less.
So now Pan Rename has lost his son too. The pressure on the Song command must have been immense.
It's just one disaster after another. And it keeps going. General Yang Yanhan steps up next.
And Yanzan doesn't kill him?
No, this is different. He's tactical, he fakes a retreat, lures Yanhan in, and captures him alive. Sends him up the mountain.
He's showing control, not just brute force.
Right. Pan Renmei is panicking. His ally, Deng Jin, tries to fight Yanzan. They go for dozens of rounds.
And Yanzan uses another trick.
Same feigned losing strategy. He draws Deng Jin in close, uses this really clever spear maneuver to disarm and unhorse him, and captures him too.
This guy is not just strong, he's incredibly skilled.
He's brilliant. Finally, it takes Gao Huaid, the one guy who held his own against Yang Ye.
The last man standing, basically.
He engages Hu Yanzan, and again they fight for over 50 rounds, and again there's no clear winner.
So Emperor Taizu has now watched his army get humiliated by two different unbelievable warriors in the span of a few days.
And this is where he steps in. He's seen enough. He exerts his authority as emperor.
He just cuts through all of it.
He assesses the situation perfectly. He asks, why should my great nation begrudge 3,000 sets of equipment?
Which is such a brilliant way to frame it. He realizes fighting them is costly and cooperating with them is cheap and potentially very rewarding.
He immediately orders the armor and weapons to be delivered.
And Yanzan is delighted. He gets the gear, and he immediately releases his prisoners, Yanhan and Deng Jin.
But then there's this final little political flourish that's just outstanding.
The shock relief.
The shock relief. Yanzan and his partner Li Jianzhang, they treat the captured generals with respect. They offer them 20 taels of gold to, calm their nerves.
Which Deng Jin refuses, maybe out of pride, but the gesture is what matters.
It is. It shows respect. It shows they're not just bandits. They understand protocol. And then they ask the former captives to introduce them to the emperor so they can formally offer their service.
And Taizu seals the deal. He gives them provisional titles on the spot. He turns a roadblock into a new asset.